What is up, Hardcore Nation? It's Hardcore Christopher here, and today we are going to be looking at the word seppuku and what it means. Now, what brought this up is I am watching a Let's Play of Samurai Warriors by Alexander Frost, and
I really loved what you said last night, but...
You really sure about this?
Every night for the last week,
Shingen Takeda
having the same
told Nobunaga Oda that his army would commit seppuku, which I have no idea what that is, and so I want to take you guys on this journey with me. Okay, so seppuku. Seppuku, sometimes referred to as harakiri, is a form of Japanese ritual suicide by disembowelment. Gross. It was originally reserved for samurai in their code of honor, but was also practiced by other Japanese people during the Showa period to restore honor for themselves or for their families. Okay, let's go to this website. I want to know more. Seppuku, Japanese for self-disembowelment, also called harakiri, also spelled Harakiri. The honorable method of taking one's own life, practiced by men of the samurai military class in feudal Japan. The word harakiri, literally belly cutting, though widely known to foreigners, is rarely used by Japanese who prefer the term seppuku, written in Japanese with the same two Chinese characters, but in reverse order. Oh, okay. Seppuku. The proper method for committing the act, developed over several centuries, was to plunge a short sword, so a dagger, I guess, into the left side of the abdomen, draw the blade laterally across to the right, and then turn it upward. It was considered exemplary form to stab again below the sternum and press downward across the first cut, and then to pierce one's throat, being an extremely painful and slow means of suicide. It was favored under Bushido warrior code as an effective way to demonstrate the courage, self-control, and strong resolve of the samurai, and to prove sincerity over purpose. Women of the samurai class also committed ritual suicide called
Don't answer any questions. The almighty Aaron Reagan.
You called your lawyer.
Is my client under arrest?
No, but we do have some questions.
No question.
Jigai?
Hired
Jigai?
a defense attorney for guilty people with deep
But
pockets.
instead of slicing the abdomen, they slashed their throats with a short sword or dagger. What's the difference between a short sword and a dagger? Aren't they the same thing?
Bring it. Honeymoon's over already?
Oh, we're not reporting for duty yet, boss. We just
There were two forms of seppuku: voluntarily
Not an actual rule.
and obligatory.
Reagan is
Voluntary seppuku evolved during the wars of the 12th century as a method of suicide used frequently by warriors
I can move.
who defeated in battle chose to avoid the dishonor of falling into the hands of the enemy. Occasionally, a samurai performed seppuku to demonstrate loyalty to his lord
Caller. She's a real
by following him in death.
Nights or new house. Let me know. ASAP.
To protest against some policy of a superior or of the government, or to atone for failure in his duties.
I thought you were the skeptical one.
There's a lot of ads on this website.
Information about his paperwork. What do you want me to do?
There have been numerous instances of voluntary seppuku in modern Japan. One of the most widely known involved a number of military officers and civilians who committed the act in 1945 as Japan faced defeat.
You mind telling us what's going on here?
Well, Adam's daughter Emily, she disappeared last year. We don't do missing persons. 2 weeks later, she was found murdered.
They found my baby right here, detectives.
The act
We have a word. Private.
in 1945 as Japan faced defeat at the end of World War II. Another well-known occurrence was in 1970 when the novelist
Going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I know this is a little out of the ordinary.
I'm more than likely going to butcher this name,
Yeah. They found my daughter
Mishimiya
in July, and I'm no closer to finding out what happened or who killed her.
Yuko
I just need someone.
disemboweled himself as a means of protest against what he believed was the loss of traditional values in the country. Obligatory seppuku refers to the method of capital punishment for samurai to spare them the disgrace of being beheaded by a common executioner. That practice was
By bundling homemade car insurance.
prevalent from the 15th century until 1873. When it was abolished, great emphasis was placed on proper performance
Even the plumbers couldn't help us.
of the ceremony. The ritual was usually carried out in the presence of a witness. Kinshui. Sent by the authority issuing the death sentence. The prisoner was usually seated on two
But is my body
tatami mats, and behind him stood a second Kashakun, usually a relative or friend with sword drawn. A small table bearing a short sword was placed in front of the prisoner. A moment after he stabbed himself, the second struck off his head. It was also common practice for the second to decapitate him at the moment that he reached out to grasp the short sword. His gesture symbolizing that the death was by seppuku. Perhaps the best known instance of obligatory seppuku is tied to the story of the 47th Ronin, which dates to the early 18th century. The incident, famous in Japanese history, relates how the samurai made masterless Ronin by the treacherous murder of their lord, Diamino Asano Nakanari, avenged his death by assassinating the Daimyo Kira Yoshinaka, a retainer of the shogun Tokugawa Toshino, whom they held responsible for Asano's murder. Afterward, the shogun ordered all the participating samurai to commit seppuku. The story soon became the bias of the popular and endearing Kapakiri drama Shushingara, and it later was depicted in numerous other plays, motion pictures, and novels. Okay, so that's seppuku. So, from what I understand, seppuku really sucks. And that is all. I hope you all learned something. I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you will. And as always, I'm Hardcore Christopher. Keep it hardcore, everyone.